collectors and Transformer fans. Once again, it's the one and only Optibotimus coming at you with another video review. And on today's episode, thanks to all of the absolutely incredible contributions from my Optibotimus Plus channel members, we're going to be taking a look at the new Transformers Studio Series Deluxe class Bumblebee, as he appeared in the Transformers Dark of the Moon film. And this is the one that I have really been looking forward to. For several years, most of you may know that I actually had a Camaro that was painted to look exactly how Bumblebee looked in the Dark of the Moon film. It is my favorite look for him, both in terms of robot mode and vehicle mode. And like I said, this is the one that I really wanted. For the package, much like all of them with the Transformers text, the Generation logo, real nice up-close image of Bumblebee here. Of course, you got the stupid opening. You have the Transformers Dark of the Moon logo up here at the top. Side here has an up-close image of his face. Side here kind of has a pullback image of what we see here. When you come around to the back of the package, you can see that this is an officially licensed vehicle through GM, and then of course, being big screen inspired, he does come with a backdrop that I pretty much don't care about. And then of course you can see images of him in his robot as well as his vehicle mode. Super excited about this guy. But for the packaging on him, that's about it. So without further ado, let's get him out here and see how cool he actually is. And here we have Bumblebee as he appeared in the Transformers Dark of the Moon film, opened up and out of its packaging. And while, yes, the majority of this is just a repaint with a few newly molded pieces, it is essentially what we've gotten previously with a lot of the Bumblebee figures. Transformation's exactly the same. The kind of skeletal structure of the figure is basically identical. Only a few things cosmetically have been done to update them to have that Dark of the Moon film look. But I love this guy so much more. Again, I don't know what it is. It could easily just be the fact that I drove around in this for several years. And I'll honestly tell you, there were multiple times that kids saw this when I would be parked at a store, driving around, whatever the case may be, and I would see them look at him a little bit longer. For me, Bumblebee was a Volkswagen Beetle growing up. But for a whole new generation, the yellow Camaro is their Bumblebee. And I just always thought that this was the coolest look for him. Bringing in the other figures, we might as well do it. Here is Bumblebee from the very first 2007 movie. Here is the updated one that he eventually changed to in that movie, moving him a little further. Here is how he appeared in Transformers Revenge of the Fallen. And just for kicks, here he is in the later movies, specifically The Last Night. And you can see you do have an absolute gorgeous progression in terms of the overall evolution of this guy. He looks so cool, but realistically, this I just think looks so much sleeker, kind of a little bit more aggressive and dynamic looking. And a lot of it just comes down to the fact that his striping is different. These ones all have the stripe that goes down the middle. I'm not a big fan of just the all black here at the top, but this, like I said, just has a cooler look. Now you can also see that in the later versions, you have a more boxy shape here for the fog lights. That was not the case in the original concept. You can see it's just a round circle. And then this really didn't even have that. Does this guy have that? I feel like, yeah, well, I don't know. Those don't really look like lights. But I think it's so much cooler looking. Now, the black spoiler, that was never something I really liked. I didn't actually have that on mine. But it is such a cool look. But again, very similar to all the other ones in terms of the overall design of them. Like I said, transformation really is almost identical. This guy's missing his arm because I had the cannon on there, so that's why that's not there. He does come with his gun. This is identical to the ones that we've gotten before, and you have a little tab thing. I don't even know where's there we go. You just have the little holes right here that you just slot that into. If I can get it in there, it's not all that easy to do. Yeah, but you can see that right there, right? You guys can. That's not. There we go. It's not very elegant. It just kind of sits there, but this really compacts a lot, so there's not really a lot of places where you could have stored this, but there's that. So we have a whole bunch of Bumblebees here. It's a history of Bumblebee that really is very fun. Rolls, as you would expect, but primarily very similar to what we've got, well, with the exception of this guy. I mean, this guy's a little bit similar, but, you know, not too much. But because we have seen the transformation on him before, it's nothing that, you know, we're not familiar with, so I'm not going to really focus on it too terribly much. But utilizing that good old-fashioned Optibotimus movie magic, we're going to go from Bumblebee looking like this to looking like this. And again, there really isn't a ton that's different with this guy. Just some minor updates to the mold that make him look a little bit more Dark of the Moon accurate. A lot of that comes in his chest area. You can see you have a completely different chest section right here. But again, very similar to what we got before with the little front sections of the car kind of coming up here. And then this middle section here basically being redone. I want to say that the head sculpt is the same as before. But everything else, as you can see, are just minor paint changes to him. But it is such an improvement, I really feel. I mean, all of them look good. None of them are really bad-looking figures and do a pretty good job of recreating. I do kind of wish that these could, like, rotate down or hide a little bit better as opposed to just kind of hanging out right there. You do have the little rotation thing so you can kind of move around those wings a bit. But let's do some of those comparisons, get those out of the way right up front. So here is Dark of the Moon Bumblebee. And here we have the original 2007 look for him next to the updated look for him from the 2007 movie, as well as the Revenge of the Fallen version, and of course, The Last Knight. And while I talked about how they all share a very similar design, these two here probably share the more different designs than these three. But like you can see, I like how these wheels come back a little bit more and don't really jut out as much as those ones do. I think that just looks a little bit more clean. But they all still kind of are similar, but these ones definitely are slightly different, you know, in terms of the transformation and such. But these three here all basically have the same transformation, but you can also see the kind of differences with them. Obviously, the colors. These two are a lot closer in terms of the coloring than that one. He had a little bit more of an orangish tone. But I'm trying to see again here if that head sculpt is the same. That it does kind of look the same, just with some darker paint applications, whereas this is a lot more silver. That one has a little bit darker of a silver color, but you can see that the chest is what is primarily different. Again, you got some little painted detail down here that kind of helps bring things out a little bit more. Slightly different paint applications throughout the entire thing. Again, just kind of denoting the differences between them. I'm trying to see, these arms look the same. Everything else pretty much looks the same. The biggest difference is going to be the chest on these guys. And you can see that with the Revenge of the Fallen, the closer one here, in terms of movie designs and such. The big difference also with this is he's got a battle mask on. You can't really swap that. I mean, you could because it's just a ball joint. But the coloring would definitely not match with that orangish color. You do have a little bit more silver. You got that with the crotch section. You have the lighter gray color. I think just like the black, maybe that's what it is. I really like the black aspect on this guy and the darker silver highlights that really come through. And then the gray plastic just looks kind of meh. Honestly, to me. Hands, again, all those are the same. Basically, it's the same. It's just the chest, but I really do like that updated chest design on him. I mean, I think that is wicked cool. I don't know if I had that pushed over all the way. Oh, no, I don't think I did. There you go, something like that. Maybe, there we go. So, overall, you can see the evolution of Bumblebee from the original concept in 2007 to the Revenge of the Fallen look to the new Dark of the Moon. And again, for me, that's just a cooler look. As you can see in the beginning portion of the video, you can just have this attached to his hand right here. You can also come around here to the back. Got a little peg hole right here. If you really wanted to, you could just plug that into his butt. Just kind of hide that, which works perfectly fine. Articulation is all identical. You do have a ball joint here, so you get a pretty good range of motion with that. The arms are on ball joints. I will say that this does feel a little bit looser than I would like. In some aspects, that just kind of wiggles. The arms also do feel a little bit looser, but they're ball joint, so that's an easy fix. You have a ball joint down at the elbow, so you get a good range of motion with that. The waist does rotate. You do have a lot of kibble going on here in the back, but you still have enough clearance to rotate that around. Hips move forward and back, in and out, rotation at right above the knee, and then you have a bend at the knee. And then you do have this joint here. You kind of have to move the little shin pads out of the way, but you do have a ankle joint, which allows you to kind of get some more dynamic poses. But when you're putting this in there, realistically, you want to kind of have that shin piece kind of line up with the little bottom section there, just to kind of create a seamless look for them. But once you move that around, kind of messes it all up. So it's just going to fix that back up. But in general, like I said, it is basically the same mold as those other ones. So if you know what that has, you know what you're going to get with this guy. I think that the overall look, though, is definitely my favorite. It does have a lot to do with the fact that I had one of these as my actual car, and it was fun. It was awesome. Sadly, that is no longer with me. Maybe one day again, who knows. But the overall design was always really cool. And I mean, one thing that I really liked about it was that more aggressive look. It just, I don't know. It was cool. That's really all there is. But there you go, guys. There's my look at the new Transformers Studio Series, Transformers Dark of the Moon Deluxe Class Bumblebee. Now, this guy is hitting various retail locations right now, or as always, you can do the real simple thing and just go online to places like Big Bad Toy Store, Amazon, or even Entertainment Earth. For all of those places, I'll put links right down there in the video description, so you can head on over there and check out availability on this guy, as well as the rest of the wide range of Transformer figures. If you choose to go the route of Entertainment Earth, in addition to a lot of times them running deals on free shipping, by clicking on my link, you'll go to the website, and any item that you buy that is in stock, you can get 10% off. So if you're not able to do something like becoming a channel member to help support the channel, clicking on links like that really can help support the channel as well. And I would really very much appreciate it. And as always, guys, please remember that the real trouble with the world is that too many people grow up. Thank you all for watching and taking the time to be a kid.